doing something like this. These two leaders made that happen, and from me and the people of Minnesota, thank you. We have Rep. Sensamura, and I think we're going to be joined by Senator Mohammed, who were instrumental in helping us get this done, helping build the coalition to make this happen. We're implementing the program. We built a modern system around it. It is secure, and we've got the support lines. Hundreds of meetings with the team that was there in outreach to employers of ways to make this happen. We have done countless checks on this, and a few weeks ago, as we started to soft launch this thing forward, we did the checks and balance, the go, no-goes, and I just have to tell you, I express my deep gratitude. You've got some of those folks here in the back of the room. An incredible amount of work doing this really important work against a backdrop of making sure that program integrity was of utmost importance, and so I'm incredibly grateful for that. This has helped families succeed. This provides security to Minnesotans. It makes us a destination state for both employers and employees, strengthens what we know needs to happen in communities, and I just have to tell you, I'm incredibly proud of it. We've done a lot of work to make it happen, and it is all about, as you hear here, families, so that parents can bond with their children. It is stunning to me that there are about 3 countries in the world that don't have this. It is an absolute travesty that there are states in this country that don't have the capacity to pay family medical leave. So I would tell all of those states out there and all of those folks, look to Minnesota. We've got a team here. Don't hire them away from me, but we've got a team that's willing to help to build this out, to produce the results that we're seeing and to move forward. With that, I'm going to let you hear from some of the folks who are actually implementing it, know what it means to them. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Brown to talk a little bit about what it means to his business. Kevin? You got it.
Thank you, Governor. My name is Kevin Brown. I'm the president of the Seward Civic and Commerce Association and the owner of SmartSet Community Printing. We're a union print shop located just a few blocks north of here in Seward neighborhood. So about 4 years ago, one of my employees had been with me quite a while, married her college sweetheart, and my wife and I attended her wedding. 3 years ago, on New Year's Day, she gave birth to her daughter. So obviously she wanted to keep her job. I wanted to keep her as an employee. And we had a lot of discussions about how she would get through the time that she needed to take off to bond with her new child. So she agreed to take her 3 weeks of paid vacation time, all in January. And after much deliberation, I agreed that it was the right thing to do to pay her for 3 weeks of paid maternity time. This was pretty expensive, and I spent a lot of hours pulling extra shifts, covering the work that she normally did, as well as paying for contract laborers to cover her shift while she was gone. So small businesses in Minnesota account for about half of the jobs in the state, and the majority of new jobs created. However, we pay 18 to 20% more for benefit plans like insurance, short-term disability, if we can get it at all. As the governor stated, it's pretty easy for large corporations to cover that expense, very difficult for small businesses. So one of the things that paid family medical leave does is really level the playing field between small businesses and large businesses. Having every person in the state now have access to paid family leave, people don't have to make the decision of where to work based on the benefits. So I compete with for the same employees with Target Corporate for graphic design, and I've lost a number of employees to Target, not because of the wage structure, but because of the benefits that I was able to provide weren't up to the level that they could get at a large corporation. So this is important to support small businesses in the state of Minnesota, and we're very appreciative. So we just recently figured out what our taxes would be to cover this program based on our first upcoming payroll with the paid family medical leave tax. And it turns out for our staff of 5, it's about $40 per payroll, or about $80 per month. So that's about $1,000 a year in additional tax. However, when I had to pay my staff person for 3 weeks paid maternity time, that was over $2,500 and thousands more in wages for contract workers to cover her shift. So in addition to providing a level playing field, this is saving small businesses money in the long run. $1,000 a year is way less than the average cost of hiring and onboarding and training a new employee. And in my case, far less because we have a highly specialized technical business. In addition, there are small business grants available through this program to cover the cost of hiring replacement workers. So for $1,000 a year in taxes, I get, my employees can take paid time off, and I get covered if I have additional expenses because of that leave. I think every small business will tell you that our success or our failure is dependent on our employees. And this is a great step forward in being able to provide the benefits across the board that will attract and retain the best talent. I know that in Washington, D.C., empathy has become a dirty word, but we have a little secret here in the heartland. We know that caring for our employees, our families, our neighbors, and our community is good for business. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lillian Anderson, and I am the owner of Extensions Hair and Wigs. It's located right in this building at the corner. I am so emotional and so happy, I don't even know where to start. I'm originated from Cameroon, West Africa. I've been here. After 30 years, I stopped counting, so don't ask me how long. But Minnesota has been one of the places that like we will say, my little village. I knew this was the right state when I relocated to United States. And this Minnesota Pay Leave program that just came up, I would really like to thank the governor and the legislation that came up with this bill. I wish that it would have happened during the time that I had an ill mother. I was able to take care of her. She was going through, diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I had to take care of her for 7 years, and she passed. And running a business and being able to take care of your loved one was really, really difficult. And not only that, this bill is really going to help a lot of the clients because I specialize on hair and hair replacement. I serve a lot of customers that are going through alopecia, hair loss, or cancer treatment. And I have a lot of them that just been listening to them and what they go through emotionally during the time of, when we sit and talk. And some of them are really, really being in the corporate world where they work, they ended up losing their job because they did not have enough time to really fight the disease. And so with this opportunity for small business like myself and also caregivers, which I did, and also, just the whole demographic of business people, this is a great opportunity for us, for Minnesotans, and we really appreciate this bill being passed and this pay leave program, what it's going to do and help people across. And also I really am so happy because it's going to help a lot of the customers that I've served that have not been able to have some time off during the time of stress or just what they've been going through. This is really going to help them at least being able to manage whatever, illness they're going through. So thanks, everyone.
Morning, everybody. My name is Matt Verlick, and I have the honor of serving as the Governor's Commissioner of the Department of Employment and Economic Development. It's wonderful to be in this building, which is a deed grantee under the Main Street Revitalization Program. And so wonderful to see how this place has blossomed. And thank you so much for having us here today. Thanks to all the speakers for sharing those powerful stories. I walked in the door today with a lot of pride in this program, pride on behalf of our team, some of whom are here and who have stood this up, knowing some of the great stories that this program will facilitate, some of the caring moments that will be possible. And now we've heard even more of them, and I feel even more pride. And what you hear today emphasizes maybe a little bit different aspect of the program. We have talked so much about the wonderful impacts for this program on workers, and as we say, giving Minnesotans time for the moments that matter without having to sacrifice their financial security. And you've heard today also how good this is for businesses, and small businesses in particular, because of that opportunity to retain employees that you might otherwise lose, because of the opportunity to save money. Kevin, thank you so much for sharing that story. So obviously a great impact of this program. We've taken the 2.5 years that we had since our great legislative champions helped to make this a reality, and used all of that time to stand up the program with lots of features that you've heard talked about already. The governor directed us to make sure this was accessible and simple for consumers to use, for potential leave takers to go onto a simple website and platform that they could access. We wanted to make it also, per the governor's direction, transparent for businesses and efficient for businesses, eliminating redundancies, et cetera, that might have otherwise slowed things down. And then finally, to emphasize building in integrity features to ensure at multiple layers that those who would try to abuse the program will be thwarted, that will be prevented, and will ensure that all the dollars going into the program are used for the purposes which they were intended. So, having done a beta launch back in November, having then done a soft launch in December, also at a business, Martha's Deli, fantastic deli, great homemade bread there, and then launched the program in full days ahead of time. We feel great about how we used that time, and most important of all, there are now parents with beautiful babies like that one who are spending extra time with those children and otherwise taking part in approved leaves in ways that will ripple beneficially across generations. Major impact. So at this point, I am meant to give back the podium to the governor, who I think is going to invite our legislators to speak. If I could just take a moment of personal privilege, given that the governor made some news yesterday, I want to emphasize that we talk about public service, and it's a term that rolls off the tongue, and maybe we don't think about what it means. The governor, you know from his biography, has embodied public service as a teacher and as a coach and as a soldier and as a member of Congress and now as our chief executive in this state. All of those jobs are of the sort that don't necessarily lead to personal enrichment, but they do allow you to enrich the lives of the people whose lives your work touches if you do the job well. And my goodness, look at how the governor has done this job with energy, with integrity, with selflessness, and with extraordinary impact. So thank you very much, Governor, for your service.
Good morning, everyone. Elise Mann from Senate District 50. We're so excited that this program is rolling out so that families have the opportunity to take care of themselves and others. And I just want to touch upon the why. Why did we work over a decade on this bill? Why did we work across the entire state on making this the best program possible? And we know that paid leave decreases hospitalizations for infants, it decreases clinic visits, it decreases maternal morbidity and mortality, it decreases postpartum depression, it decreases preterm labor, it has incredible health impacts. And as we heard, it increases productivity and profitability for small businesses, especially. Like the governor said, there is a reason why the biggest business in the state already have this program in place. It closes the wage gap, both gender wage gap and the racial wage gap. And so this program has benefits across all sectors. And we are very, very excited to be part of it and to have Minnesota be part of it. I do want to thank Deed for all the work that they have done, Greg and Evan, and the entire team who at night go to bed knowing that they spent their days making somebody's life much easier. Which is really, really special. And a side note, too, I do want to thank the governor myself also for a different reason. I am still a practicing physician, and I know that during COVID, extremely difficult decisions were made, and I think we would have been significantly worse off if we had had somebody else in charge. And I do believe that the decisions that were made by Governor Walz during COVID-19 saved hundreds, if not thousands, of lives of Minnesotans. So I want to personally thank him for that.
Thank you, Dr. Mann.
Good morning, everybody. Representative Cedric Frazier, District 43A, which covers the cities of Crystal and New Hope. I took over carrying the bill after Ruth Richardson left the House. She was extremely instrumental when we passed it in 2023. I took it over after to make technical changes and to continue to usher it through to where it is today. Again, I would say thank my folks from DEED, Evan and Greg. Thank you all, Commissioner. Thank you all, and obviously the governor for being steadfast in making sure that we got to this point here today. And Dr. Mann, Senator Dr. Mann, mentioned a lot of the things that I would have said foundationally, but I'll just say this: in this moment of chaos and uncertainty, this is a shining and a bright light for many of our workers in the state, to at least know that they don't have to worry about making a decision between a paycheck and taking care of themselves, taking care of their families, or their loved ones. So I'm just happy that we're here this day. All systems are go, things are going well, and I thank you all for being here to cover this story.
Thank you. Thank you all again. It's exciting. We'll hear the stories. We'll take on-topic questions. I'll be glad to take some off-topic after we let these folks go. But any on-topic to the folks here?
Regarding oversight of the program, I'm just going to throw a bunch of questions here. Like,
Yep.
Which agency will provide oversight? Who will be the investigators? Will be audited? How often? Will the Attorney General's office play a role in that? Can you just speak to that?
Those conducting oversight will, to a certain extent, probably make themselves known to us. We are responsible for implementing it in a way that has multiple layers of protection against misuse. And so we already take lots of questions from the legislature, and no doubt we'll have more of those as well. Just in terms of the integrity features, of course, you have to verify your identity on the front end, typically with a selfie and your driver's license. We need verification of any claim of the need for leave, and so if it's for welcoming a baby, we need to have documentation verifying that, or if it's for a medical condition, we need to have documentation from a legitimate medical provider. So those, and then other cross-checks that we can do regarding payroll data, et cetera. That's how we help to ensure integrity, and then we invite others, and we will continue to be transparent about how the program is operating so that they can do their scrutiny and do their due diligence.
Governor, what about people who are concerned about fraud and trusting another new state government program? Broadly, what words would you have about people's uncertainty?
Look, we'll put these things in. We've known this has been out there, and I think you heard Commissioner Verlick say that. DEED runs the unemployment insurance, too. We know that those programs are out there. I don't think that got reported, but there was an analysis done on the states across the country, unemployment insurance. I think Iowa and Minnesota were 1 and 2 and the most secure. So there's a lot of safeguards in place, and we'll continue to deliver that. And I said, I told you yesterday, and I'll continue to say it, I will be there to make sure. Tim O'Malley and our team over there on program integrity, BCA, we have more tools that will continue to do this. The buck stops with me on this, and that is absolutely true, but I want to be very clear on this too. If the buck stops with me on when there's problems, the buck stops with me on successes. Not a single Republican supported this. So every Minnesotan from here on forward, whoever uses this program, there is no bit of thanks that would go to the Republican legislators who did all they could to stop this. So I will take full responsibility. We have safeguards in place. We'll do that. But I think the report on this is, as you're hearing the stories here, I'll take some credit for that because we put this program in place. We got it done. We implemented it. We did the work for 2.5 years, and lots of things worked. Your highways get plowed. I'll take credit for that, too. The Republicans voted against my budget bill that did the work with that. Our schools have the money to pay their teachers. I'll take credit for that, too. The issue here is focusing on this, and they have every right to do so. The positive story of this is parents with their children. The Republicans' goal is to have none of those programs. And I can guarantee you one way to ensure there's no fraud, just don't do the program. Just don't do the program. And then you will look like states who rank at the bottom in every single initiative. So we have a responsibility to continue to do better on this, But I'm going to take credit when we're ranked at the top on almost every single category because of these programs. So we all know what's at stake here. This team knows that, and we said it. They took that responsibility to do it, and I will encourage them and encourage our folks that are out there on program integrity, do everything possible. If you attempt to try and collect paid family and medical leave illegally, you will be prosecuted and you will be jailed. It's as simple as that. So do I think people will try and do that? Certainly I think people will try and do that. They're not going to get away with it, but they'll do that.
Commissioner, for the roughly 3,000 people who are already on leave, when do the payments start? Can they expect like this Friday, or is there a little bit of a lag?
I think within days is that right?
12.
12th. Yeah, so the 12th. And we have members of the team there in the back. Yep.
Commissioner, can you give an update on Friday on the numbers through the first couple of days of the program? What have you guys seen since that update, and has that tapered off a little bit? Are you guys still having the same kind of, I think you said a week turnaround on Friday?
Right.
What's that look like?
Yeah, and we did an availability yesterday and gave an update as well. There has been some reporting that I think was mistaken about how many applications have come in since the beginning of January versus when we opened for beta launch. So the numbers, I think, were 12,000 by January 2nd, which reflects all the way back to November. We had, I want to say, around 700 per day coming in over the weekend. On the business days, we've been closer to 2,000 coming in per day. And so I think the governor cited the number of a total of roughly 17,000. We want to emphasize that that is applicants. And then, of course, our team at DEED needs to do the adjudication where we're reviewing all the details and approving some, rejecting others, and in other cases seeking additional information so that we can render a judgment one way or the other.
Do you have a sense of your approval rejection rate so far?
I don't know how much we've reflected there. I'd have to get back to you on the details on that one, yeah.
Since fraud has become such a topic of conversation, is there any last-minute security measures you all put in place on this program you can speak upon?
I would say not last minute in the sense that we have known from the beginning how important it is to ensure high integrity in this program. And as the governor referenced, we do run unemployment insurance and have been able to take lessons from how we ensure a high level of integrity in that program. And we rank very highly. And then likewise have had the benefit of learning from the other states that have already done this. And the legislative champions with the governor and lieutenant governor, of course, crafted a version that we thought was very implementable. And consequently, we feel good about the collection of fraud prevention layers built into the program.
What's the difference between the paid leave program at the state level and the one that's already in place in Minneapolis? And considering that Minneapolis has not reportedly experienced any fraudulent activity in their program, is there any models that you can take from that program to reassure the public?
I got to confess, I'm not familiar with the Minneapolis one, so I would have to learn more about that one myself.
And let's just say an employee leaves their job. Do they get those, and they don't cash out on their paid sick time while they're employed? Do they get that back when they leave, or they're no longer working?
Well, the notion is that you would come back to your employer after completing the leave. And it's important to say that we always emphasize the partial wage replacement part of the program, meaning you get a payment, but also you get job protection, meaning that you can return to the equivalent position.
Commissioner, can you clarify, in response to Lee's question, when you said those who are conducting oversight will like make themselves known to us, what did you mean independent?
Meaning we'll get.
You have people doing oversight within the program.
Exactly. I'm saying we control our role in implementing the program and ensuring integrity on the front end. But anyone that wants to be analyzing our performance on that, be that the OLA, be that the various legislative committees, they will let us know when they want to do a hearing. And already Deputy Commissioner Rowe has done a 2-hour hearing in front of the Fraud Prevention Committee, for example. And Legislative Auditor Judy Randall was in the audience and was just asked sort of impromptu to come up to the table. And she acknowledged, hey, we have not audited the program yet, but said that based on everything she sees, she is impressed at the integrity measures built into the program.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks, representatives. Grateful. Grateful. Senator Mohammed, good to see you. Well, thank you all for being out here. Again, really proud of this program. It is a game changer for working families. It's one more piece of that that building blocks to making Minnesota the best state in the country for to raise a family, and we're off and running. And I think it's pretty impressive to get this thing going. Of all the implementations we have to implement as the legislature writes it, but by the 12th, we're going to have people receiving their payments. With that, I'll take some questions.
Governor, did you make the decision to end your campaign by yourself, or did you receive pressure from Democratic allies?
This is a decision that I make and make with my family, and certainly I think, as I said, it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted 400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars. And I find it interesting that Minnesota, California, Illinois, and New York were taking that. The interesting thing is the biggest fraud trial in the country is taking place in Mississippi today with $100 million of welfare fraud. And, I don't believe Mississippi was on that list. So look, this is a concerted effort to try and destroy the president's opponents, to destroy the rule of law. And it became apparent to me that he was going to do that with me being there. And I just feel, along with my family, that it's the best decision for Minnesota. And I feel very confident in that. I think it's going to be clear that Minnesotans agree with that.
Governor, can you talk about
So-
more?
Can you break down your conversation with Senator Klobuchar on Sunday?
I've talked to everybody.
Can you break down specifically the conversation with her? Did you recommend that she consider running?
I spoke
Was
with-
it your first conversation with
I spoke with all of the delegation, let them know. I spoke with a lot of key allies. I spoke with my family, and just let them know that this is what we were going to do. And Senator Klobuchar was one of those conversations. I think that we have a very deep bench. It's very clear to me. Again, I would mention this, that, again, none of the people running for governor of Minnesota voted for this program. None of these folks running for governor condemned January 6th, and none of the people, the Republicans running for governor, had the damn common decency to Melissa and Mark's children have asked them to stop doing what they're doing, the president. The question I would ask all of you is you need to ask those people running for governor if they would ask the president to please stop attacking the Hortman children and telling lies about this. And so I am very confident a Democrat's going to win this. My conversation with Senator Klobuchar was the same conversation I've had with many others.
Governor, there's been the constant drumbeat coming from Washington, from the White House to many of the different departments in Washington talking about fraud and talking about you. What was the one thing that you heard that said, this is why I've got to step out? Was it that constant drumbeat coming at you, or was it more of a personal decision? No,
I think it's a personal decision. It's effectiveness. I never took this job to be governor. I took the job to pass things like paid family medical leave. I took this job to get our children food. I took this job, and what I'll continue to do for a year is I will protect every single person in this state. And I had an announcement to them on our LGBT community, especially our trans community. Stay the hell out of Minnesota for the folks who want to hassle those people. These are our neighbors. So for me, it became, if I can be as effective doing that, and it's clear, look, I don't think any governor in history has had to fight a war against the federal government every single day. And now it's reaching down into our commissioners. And look, what Donald Trump tweeted the other night, put the Hortman children at risk. They have to look at security, put my family at risk again. What he's doing to the Somali community is absolutely unconscionable. And at some point in time, this is about, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I bug the crap out of Donald Trump. I would argue it is because I believe in public service. I've not enriched myself in office. I treat people with dignity. I agree to compromise with people. And the attacks on Minnesota are far beyond me, and it's hurting Minnesota. Here's what I have full confidence in is Republicans are going to lose races up and down the ticket, because where is their plan on health care as health care prices doubled? Where is their plan to push back on the president? Again, for God's sakes, the children of a murdered speaker and they can't speak up and say, Mr. President, this is wrong, stop it. And you write a story that one retired legislator said it and one member, how can you not have every single one of them saying this is wrong? And I'm going to fight this without having to spend any time worrying about the politics of this. I'm going to fight it, making sure that Minnesotans are cared for. I'm going to fight it by doing the respect that we should have for rule of law. So I just think all of you see this. It is just going to be relentless. Why 2,000 folks? What are they coming? Do they want to coordinate with us? You saw a U.S. attorney stand up, which would have been let go by any other administration, speculating about things with no factual information. That's defamation. That's coming from the U.S. attorney. We are under assault like no other time in our state's history because of a petty, vile administration that doesn't care about the well-being of Minnesotans. My job is to protect the well-being of Minnesotans. So the good news on this is Republicans are assured they're going to lose the governor's race dramatically. That's fine by me. I don't care who sits in this seat as long as it's not one of them who hurt Minnesotans. I care that it's somebody who understands and respects this office. Janet.
You just talked about the danger. Your daughter gave an interview talking a little bit about the danger. Was there any part of the governor that thought when you were making this decision, did it cross your mind that not by any nature of what you've done, but just because of you being you and being the target, that people's lives were in danger,
Yes.
whether they be, so you felt that
Yes.
for Sophie Call and other, that
Yes.
curious.
Yes, and for our Somali community, yes. Look, I'm on the list because whatever it is, they hate us. I may be on the list because of last fall. I may be on the list for whatever reason. But yes, that's exactly what it is. And I don't know how you spin the story other than him pushing that conspiracy theory. You don't have to listen to me. The Hortman children told you that. We shouldn't have to be talking about them. Respect their privacy. We just attended a wedding, which was a joyous day, with 2 empty seats from someone who was murdered. But, there's rumors out there and all this. That is frickin' evil. And every one of you in this room knows it's evil. And that type of hate and those types of threats that are actionable, yes. And look, I'm concerned for my family, but I've got a little bit of protection now. My family, not so much. But what about Somali immigrants who are minding their own business? We've got 2,000 folks. We don't even know who they are. They'll be wearing masks, being here in Minnesota, harassing them. If you want us to fix fraud, come and help us. Come and help us do that. They're not interested in that.
Governor, have you given any thought to what's next for you after you leave office?
No.
You're only going to be 62.
No, I know. I'm going to run some more marathons. I'm going to defend my turkey trot title. I don't know if I told you all that I won my age group in the turkey trot. Look, I got a year of work to do here. I think it will be the most challenging year, and that includes probably COVID, because I caution Minnesotans, this is going to worse before it gets better. Everybody here knows, you will be nonpartisan and you will be fair in this, but the vast majority of the country knows this is because Donald Trump's in trouble. The Epstein files need to come out. The economy's sinking. We're fighting a war in Venezuela. I will tell you one thing on this, that today, people in Minnesota, the work that we did and the bill that I signed makes their life a lot better. And I would ask those folks who think Donald Trump's doing the right thing, do you think not getting paid family leave and fighting a war in Venezuela has improved your life? Because if it is, I don't know what I can say to you to help you vote for something, but that's where it's going to go. For me, I'm going to do this work. To be candid with you, what I'm really good at is I'm a really good geography teacher. And I think that's something where I would find the joy in getting back in there, trying to teach, do the things that we want to do. So, yeah.
Last one here.
Has the opt-out fraud report come back to your office yet? Or when?
Not analyzed yet. The one I got today, and I'll tell you just as a heads up on this, we got the Axtell report back on Capitol security, and that's my next step on this. And I do want to kind of preview a little bit here. If Republicans think that I'm not coming to make us more safe around guns, they are sadly mistaken. They are going to take votes on protecting our children, or they're not going to get anything else done. When that report comes back, that will give us, I think, some idea where we're going. I'm excited to see and hopeful what Tim O'Malley's going to see. I think you're seeing this. I feel pretty confident right now that the plan on how to get there is getting pretty well laid out. I think the gap analysis of where there were gaps is pretty well there. I think we're going to have to figure out how we implement some of the safeguards in place. Probably have to come back to the legislature. It'll be interesting to see, and I really do appreciate that question about the fraud committee. If I'm not mistaken, this planned meeting on fraud in this program before it implemented was the very first meeting ahead of trying to prevent. I need the legislator to help me on prevention. It's pretty easy after the fact to say this happened. They're really good at that. They're not so good on the front end, so I think that would be good. But I just want to say again to all of you, incredibly grateful. I'm going to make note of this. I had my team verify this. I've stood in front of the press more than any governor in Minnesota history and taken more questions from the press in Minnesota history. My team has provided more data under the Data Practices Act than any governor in history. And I'm going to preview for you now and I would ask all of you for the help on this. It seems absolutely outrageous and a gap to me. The only people who aren't subject in state government to data practices are the legislature. And we've had a pedophile in the state Senate that we got no information about. We have credible accusations of one Republican representative against another Republican representative that they committed fraud. We have a requirement that the House run an audit, which they did not do. You are the gatekeepers on this. Demand that there's data practices, and if they hang them out there, why aren't they turning them over to prosecutors? And right now, they are hiding behind a veil of innuendo. They're protecting the biggest fraudster in the White House. They are unwilling to acknowledge that January 6th was an insurrection. They are unwilling to stand with Melissa Hortman's children. And I want to tell you this, for those legislators who went and shed crocodile tears at her funeral, shame on you. Shame on you. Her children are asking you to do one thing in her name. It's to tell the president to stop doing this. That shouldn't be that difficult. So look, for Republicans here, I have more energy than I've ever had. I am committed to this state more than I've ever been. I love this state with every fiber of my being. I believe we are the best state. Have I been perfect in this? God dang no. I wasn't perfect as a teacher. I wasn't perfect as a coach. I wasn't perfect as a soldier, but I was pretty damn good at all those things. And I am committed to getting this right. And I will tell you what, if they think now, I mean, game's over for them now. It was all me. I was the bad guy or whatever. Well, put up or shut up now and tell us what you're going to do to make this state better. Answer these tough questions. Quit hiding behind this and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden, to make sure that you're doing your job. I'm asking for your help. We need data practices with the legislature right now. You need to expect to get every one of my emails just like you have when you ask for them. Every one of my commissioners, you should be able to ask for those, which you can do, and we need to do that. Here's the thing that I'm going to ask all of you is, Republicans want to tear this state down. Republicans want to tell you it's too dangerous to walk down the streets. Republicans want to tell you there's nothing good comes out of Minneapolis-St. Paul. Republicans want to tell you everybody with brown skin is stealing money or that they're not welcome here. They want to do nothing to improve this state. Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making the state better. So you'll get to see me more. The good news is on this is that I got no election to look forward to. I've been in front of you. I'll call on who I want to call on, and I'll watch what the press gets written, and we'll make sure that in this state there's full accountability for everybody. Because buck stops with me. I'm accountable for this. And because of that accountability, I'm not running for office again. But I have a year to continue to improve on a record that I think will stand up against anybody's, a record that has made Minnesota better, a record that makes people want to come here, and a record that has respected not only the dignity of people, but the idea of rule of law and camaraderie. So the one thing that I hate is anytime I get drug into being next to Donald Trump, God help me, I don't want to be judged against that guy. Judge me against an average Minnesotan going out to do their job every day and being decent to their neighbors. So thank you all, and we'll be back.
Thanks, folks.
We got it.
Thank you. We'll be back soon.